Okay, we're going to go on and get started. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I am the Assistant Director of Professional Programs. I want to welcome each of you to the UMBC at Shady Grove Data Science Fall 2020 Open House. Before we begin, I'd like to go over just a couple of housekeeping items. Please note that this session will be recorded for quality assurance purposes. In order to provide the best experience for you and all other attendees, please keep your microphone muted throughout the entire session. If questions arise during the presentation, please feel free to utilize the WebEx chat feature to submit your question. I will be looking at those throughout the presentation, as well as we have outlined a formal Q&A period at the end of the presentation to address these questions. In the event that we are unable to answer during this presentation, either I, Karina Jenkins, or Dr. Murat will touch base with you directly via email. We hope that you enjoy the presentation, and without further ado, I introduce you to the Assistant Graduate Program Director, Dr. Murat Gurnash. Dr. Murat?
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, everyone. This is Murat Güner. I am the Assistant Graduate Program Director of Data Science at UMBC, and I am your designated person in Shady Grove from academic point of view. So I will be sharing my presentation, and and if you have any questions, please share them at the chat, and we will be hopefully responding them at the end of the presentation. Okay, so let me share my screen very quick. Stephanie, can we see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, let's begin the presentation then. So so as an introduction, let me introduce myself. Stephanie already introduced herself. So my name is Murat Güner. Again, I am the Assistant Graduate Program Director and also a lecturer here. And I am mainly responsible from Shady Grove Data Science Operations. And so I am also a new member of the MBC family and Shady Grove family. So it is very exciting to be here for me too. The only hiccup is basically everything is online, but we are, I think, we have a phenomenal team, and we are overcoming all the challenges of this like a pandemic very well. So my background is in mathematics. I have a PhD in mathematics, and then after I graduated from my program, given my background, I was already into machine learning, right? Machine learning is lots of mathematical formulas and all these things. And then I decided to be in data science field, and I studied a year as a lead data science instructor at Flatiron Bootcamp. And then I basically joined to the UMBC family. So this is me basically. We are here to basically give you an idea why UMBC data science program is a really, really great career choice for you, right? So you are right now probably very excited, and you are probably how to say, maybe some of you are a little bit concerned about like all this pandemic, your career wise. You want to make your best decision for your career, and here I will try to give you some idea and some information about our program and why it might be a really good choice for your career. Okay, so let's start with what is data science. I know that it might be so, oh my gosh, he will start from the history of humankind, but no, it will not be like that. But I want you to understand like what we will be doing first, because there is so much noise around data science. So like some people see that artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science as if it's a dark magic. It's not really, okay? So there are some uncertainty, and we are trying to measure these uncertainties. So in data science especially, what we are trying to do is we are trying to extract knowledge from like a lot of and very complex data sets, okay? So if you, I'm a fan of Wikipedia. If you go to Wikipedia and search what is data science it's basically, you will see that, and I would like to emphasize the keywords. It's an interdisciplinary field, okay? And that uses scientific method. This is science part coming from, right? Scientific methods, processes, algorithms, and systems to extract knowledge from structured or unstructured data. So, okay, so what we should understand from this thing, I think the key points are the following in data science definition. One of them is this is an unbelievably interdisciplinary field, right? So a data scientist should have, it's a kind of like a data scientist, the unicorn, right? So it should have all these amazing skills that other people are trying to learn for years. What are those? Programming skills, statistics skills, mathematical skills, right? So especially applied mathematical skills, and if it's possible, some sort of domain knowledge. So this is dataset. It is amazingly cool field, but you know it's also yeah. So it's really challenging to be data scientist. It requires a lot of skills, and again, here we are providing this like education for you. Okay. So, but okay, data science is cool, but why now it become all of a sudden buzzword, or why, you know, I don't know whether you heard about the Harvard Business Reviews, like a coin term for data science is the sexiest job of 21st century, right? So why data science is so sexy? So let's go through this thing a little bit. So here, this is a chart basically shows us the amount of data we are creating, and there are some forecasting here, right? So this is the amount of data we are creating basically every year. So I don't know whether you understand zettabyte. Personally, to be honest, I cannot even imagine what it means, zettabytes. But let me try to explain to you how much data we are creating every day in this way. So we, as humans, we started to create data by start writing, right? So, and it is approximately 5,000 years ago we first start writing, okay? We invented the writing. So after like a 5,000 years ago, we start creating and documenting all these things. And we, according to a book from MIT Press, so in 2013, in one single day, we were creating the same amount of data we created 5,000 years. So this is the amount of data we are creating, and this is 2013 data. So every day, basically, we are creating right now more data than throughout the history of humankind. This is the amount of data we are dealing with. Okay, other than just the amount of data, what is going on? Other than the amount of data basically we are creating, there are some other advancements in data science, and this is why data science become all of a sudden really important field. The other thing is storage. Like, so how we can create that much data, because we can store them right now in a reasonably cheaper way, right? So this is basically one of the first hard drive, and apparently it was 5 megabyte like a size, and it was $10,000. And right now you can easily get a 1 terabyte USB stick around like a $60. If especially right now, if you are buying in a Black Friday or something like that, it can even go lower than that, right? So this is unbelievable improvement in terms of storage, but not necessarily storage, not necessarily data creation. The other thing is processing power, right? So we can have right now, we have all these powerful machines, computational power, like a reasonably good price, reasonably cheap price. And also with the cloud computing, now we have unbelievable amount of computational power under our fingertips, right? So this is, again, data science is like going through a perfect storm right now. It's really like a perfect time to be in data science in that sense, because everything come together in a perfect way. So one of the really leading researchers in AI, Andrew Ng, I don't know whether you heard about him. He's the founder of the Coursera and also adjunct faculty at Stanford University, and I think founders of the Google DeepMind or Google Brain Team, I guess. So he is saying that the AI or machine learning is the new electricity. So in that sense, if you are trying to be a data scientist right now, you should think of yourself like as if in the beginning of 1900s, you are trying to be an engineer, right? So it is really great investment because with the electricity, everything will change. Everything will be like a factories, right? So, and they will need lots of engineers. So it's really, in that sense, great time to be in this field. Okay, so this is good. Okay, we understand that what is data science and why it is cool. And now we understand why it is a good time to be a data scientist. Now, what about like us, right? So UMBC. So we have one program in two locations. So it is really like a, even though we have two different locations, one of them is at UMBC's main campus in Baltimore, and the other one is in Rockville in Maryland. It's very close to DC. In fact, I'm living in DC, and this location is very convenient for me. But really, we are having one program, and we are like basically trying to govern, trying to organize everything as if we are one program. The only thing then why we are having two different campuses because we want our students to have convenience if they are living in this area, right? So this area has lots of industrial, basically companies, lots of companies that might be interested with data science and lots of students also that might want to shift their career to data science. And we want to be close to them. And this is why basically the motivation to be in Shady Grove as a data science program. And I just Googled today one more time the distance between Shady Grove to Baltimore, and it is approximately 38 minutes. So it's really not long drive also. And this is a good sign for me. And I'm looking forward to day I could basically go my office in Baltimore and then come back to Shady Grove in 38 minutes. Hopefully this will happen. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit people. So you see two of us right now in this meeting. So this is me, my a little bit younger version maybe. And so this is Stephanie, our assistant director for the professional programs. And our basically my mentor also, Dr. Shimshek. Dr. Shimshek is our director in the data science program. And we have Karina Jenkins, our graduate program manager. Okay, so if you are interested with like a Shady Grove data science program, and if you have any questions about academic side of point of view, academic side of the things, please reach out to me from this email address. Okay. But if you have some questions about application, admission procedures, and this kind of things, please reach out to Karina from this email address. And this will be available to you afterwards, or we can share them in the chat window, okay? But if you have questions about more general questions or like maybe questions about the main campus program, please reach out to our program director, Dr. Shimshek, and Stephanie from these emails, okay? So, okay, we talk about location, we talk about people. Now let's talk about what do we really how do we organize the program, right? So we are offering you two basically different programs, and one of them is a little bit shorter, a little bit like a concise thing, and it is a graduate certificate, and the other one is basically Master of professional studies, which I will be referring to MPS sometimes, okay? So as you can see, MPS, Master of Professional Studies, is total of 10 courses and adds up to 30 credits. And the graduate certificate is 4 courses and 12 credits. Okay, so let's talk about these courses, right? Some of these courses. We have 6 core courses in our program. We basically plan around these 6 courses. And we think that these 6 courses are fundamental in terms of like a really understanding data science field, okay? The first one of these things is basically 601, and this is basically introduction to data science. In this course, we want you to understand a data science project lifecycle, the main components that you will be basically responsible of when you got a job as a data science, right? Especially this circle, like you will be starting with a problem definition. You will be basically extracting, transforming, and loading your data, right? So learning, machine learning, you will be applying some sort of machine learning, and then finally you will be deploying this model to somewhere. So we will go through this process, especially again, like a hands-on approach, and you will be applying these lifecycle components with a programming language application, okay? The second course, and by the way, very quick, you will be basically, this is a required course that you have to take in your first semester, Data 601. The other courses, you can basically take them like in different orders, but 601 is the course that you should take in your first semester when you enroll to the program, because it's really the foundation, it's really the basics, bread and butter type of information, okay? In 602, though, we will be going through a little bit like a fancier machine learning, AI type of things, and we will be learning a lot about components of machine learning, especially we will be focusing on algorithms in supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. And in addition, obviously, we will be focusing on deep learning a little bit here also. We will be giving you introduction to deep learning, and reinforcement learning, obviously, also we will be giving you some intro here. Okay, so as you know, most of the machine learning, like most of the commercial or financial benefit of machine learning coming from especially the classification problems, right? It's most of it coming from supervised learning, and in fact, most of it coming from classification problems, right? So we will be basically showing you lots of very common algorithms and like a special techniques that allows you to be able to use these things in your projects, okay? And each of these courses, I can talk about these forever, basically, because I am teaching them this semester. So these are all hands-on, and we are asking you to make projects at the end of these courses, okay? And the other course is 603. And if you heard about data science, probably you heard about the big data. And in this course, basically, you will be discussing more about big data tools. Big data comes with a lot of opportunities, but it has a little bit, because of its nature, it requires different tools and different approach. And in this course, you will be learning these tools and like how you will handle big data, because its challenges are different than normal data sets. So you will be learning this kind of things in this course. Especially, obviously, here you can see lots of nice, cute animals. And these are, if you heard about like a Hadoop environment, basically these are the logos of Hadoop. And especially, we will be focusing on Spark here too, okay? And finally, we have 604. I don't know why I said finally, but 604 is another course that you will be taking as core courses. And in this one, as I said, data is right now new electricity, right? Or data is, the AI is a new electricity, or right? So, and if this is the analogy, maybe we can make the data is new oil in that sense. And we should treat that in this way. And it requires planning. It requires basically managing this resource, right? It requires storing this resource in an appropriate way. And these are all you will be learning in Data 604 data management course. Okay. And once you take these 4 courses, basically you will be, congratulations, you will have a graduate certificate, basically. Okay. But as we said, we have 6 core courses. Once you got the graduate certificate, if you want, you can build on and you can continue and you can get this is a direction to MPS, right? So, and in order to be able to get MPS, we will ask you to get Data 605, which is basically ethical and legal issues in data science, especially right now. As machine learning algorithms applied more and more and data science become more common in companies, we have seen lots of also ethical issues related to AI, related to machine learning. And it becomes really like not only from legal point of view, not only from ethical point of view, companies are losing also a lot of money, a lot of credibility because of their mistakes in application of machine learning or in data science practices. So in this course, you will be learning best practices in terms of ethics and legal issues. Finally, yes, so this is 605. So it adds to 5 classes, okay? And with this 5 classes, basically you will learn many things, right? Many different skill sets. And remember that data science is a diverse field. And you, as you can see, this 5 course really very diverse from what you learn, right? So big data, machine learning, data science, ethics, management, all these different components of to be a good data scientist. And then finally, we have another course, which I will touch on. But after you took these 5 courses, we will ask you to do a capstone, which basically you will show us that you can implement all these skills in a project, in a applicable business oriented project, okay? And this one, this management, leadership, and communication course is our another core courses, which I will explain in a minute. Okay. So this is the summary of MPS program. This is Master of Professional Studies. As you can see, we have 7 required courses. And then after you finish these 7 required courses, which is 21 credits, you will be taking 3 elective courses, which again, I will explain in a minute. So what is this management, leadership, and communications course? Remember that data science is, especially when you get a data science role, probably you will have a team of other data scientists or data analysts, and you might be working with them as a leadership position, right? So in order, or like as a consultant, if you will be a consultant in a data science firm, you will have your clients and you should be able to communicate, set expectations, delegate roles or tasks, and like you should have this kind of management and leadership skills, and in addition to these things, communication skills. And in this course you will be learning this kind of skills, how you could communicate and manage your data science project, basically. Okay, so this is, again, it's a must to be a data scientist, a good data scientist especially, and this is why it is in our core program. Okay. So, okay, we talk about the courses also. Now let's talk about a little bit our faculty, which is a really great topic for us to be mentioning, because we really have, and I think Ergün, Dr. Şimşek is also really should get lots of credit here. He basically collected amazing skills and a great team here. Because remember that data science was a really diverse field. Therefore, in order to be able to make a great program, we needed a very diverse skill sets, also expertise, and it's not only like diverse skills, also because we want to be a professional program, right? So we want you to be able to shift your career to data science very easily. So like we want people have real life or like industry experience, and this is really the team, really having expertise and really having great experiences, industry experiences. So I don't want to go through all these individual like great people having lots of expertise and experiences. First of all, you can immediately see that we have lots of PhDs, and other faculty doesn't have PhD, has like a master's degree in relevant fields. And we have people working in Booz Allen Hamilton, Amazon Web Services. We have people working at Social Security Administration, IBM, like all these big companies, and like they are doing cutting edge, basically data science. Okay, what is the advantage of this thing from your point of view? In addition to you will be working, you will be getting information from like a top experts in the field, is basically these people have amazing connections. And as we know, knowledge is not enough to be able to get easily get a job. The other thing is connections and networking. And while you are taking our courses in the program, you will be like automatically making great connections to the industry, because our basically faculty is working in the industry. They have amazing opportunities available to them, and basically through them available to you. So lots of internship opportunities, lots of basically connections will be available to you. And this is also another huge advantage that our program provides for you. Okay. So, we mentioned here, so there are 3 elective courses, right? What are the options for you that you can choose these electives from? Let's talk about these things a little bit. So we have already created like a pathways for you, okay? And these are like basically, we basically make them packages so that you can easily access them and like plan your career around, okay? So we have all these pathways available to you, but with a star asterisk there, okay? So because we have 2 different campuses, some of these programs are only available in main campus. So these shaded ones, health IT, public policy, advanced computing, and advanced analysis pathways are only available at main campuses, okay? And these bold ones are basically the ones will be available in both Shady Grove and also in main campus, okay? So as you might know, cybersecurity is really a field getting also growing and growing, and application of machine learning and data science is getting more important there. Spatial analytics is the same. Bioinformatics pathway is a new partnership with NIH. And this is really, if you have a medical science background, if you studied biology or pharmaceutical engineering type of thing, so this might be a great pathway for you. And also another good thing is, again, we give you this structure, but it's not necessarily you have to stick one of these things, because you can take some courses from management science and project management pathway. And then if you feel that, oh my gosh, in bioinformatics pathway, there is this amazing course I really want to take, you can also take these courses from different pathways. But we usually, we created these pathways for you. So if you stick on one of these pathways, you will get really deep understanding and expertise in those fields. And this will hopefully give you an edge when you are applying for positions. Okay. So these are more in-depth course titles. Okay. These are the courses that you can choose your 3 courses. But again, as I said, for example, you can take this GES 774 special statistics, and then you might say, do you know what? I want to take also risk analysis and compliance. Yeah, you can take them too. So you can choose your 3 elective courses however you like, basically. Okay. So, and another thing, can you choose these pathways even if you are in Shady Grove? Yeah, you can do it, but these courses are available in the main campus, so you should be able to adjust your schedule, adjust your program accordingly. Okay, so again, these courses, you can take these courses, but you have to basically adjust your calendar or schedule accordingly. Okay, so another good thing about certain pathways is basically you can get, if you choose cybersecurity and project management pathways, you can get basically a post-baccalaureate certificate when you finish. So in addition to your basically master's degree, in addition to MPS you will get from data science, you will be getting a certificate from cybersecurity or project management program, depending on which one you choose. So this is again like a kind of 2 birds with 1 stone type of situation. This is really great opportunity for you in that sense. And as we said, the only maybe a challenge might be here for you is you should be able to make your scheduling planning ahead of the time with your program advisor, which I might be, or Professor Shimshek will be your advisor. So because not every course is obviously is not opened every semester, so you should make sure that you are planning ahead of the time. Okay. And if you want to get, in addition to MPS, if you want to get any degree, any other certificate, you should make sure that you are letting us know within your first year. So you should be able to basically declare your intention in your first year. Okay, so this is the only condition that you should do. Okay, so what are like, okay, these are what we are providing for you, right? These are all things that we basically organized and structured for you. What is from your end, what might be some expectations or like some stuff that you should know? Basically, like depend on your background, you might immediately start with data 601. But if you think that, oh my gosh, I took the last math class 15 years ago. Oh my gosh, I never programmed before. I never write a code before. I only can open my Gmail and sometimes Twitter or something like that. Then it is okay. We have some courses for you, but please make sure that you are checking with us before basically you sign up for Data 601. Okay, so we think about this kind of different backgrounds and we prepared some courses for you too. So please make sure that you are checking with us, and I will explain in a minute in more details these courses. The other thing is some of our students have already full-time work, and it is okay for them to be also like following their like learning more and advancing their careers. But for them, we suggest that they should take 1 or 2 courses per semester, because these are all graduate level courses. These are seriously intense courses, and you will learn and do a lot of stuff. So you don't want to overload yourself and get overwhelmed afterwards. So we usually recommend you to take 1 or 2 courses if you are working full-time already. Okay, and international students should take 3 courses at least to be able to eligible for full-time students. Okay, and in these pathways especially, some of them are really technical courses because they are building up on the previous material. So there might be some prerequisites. You should make sure that you are checking these things. Okay. And obviously, the only, I think, requirement that we are really asking you is like you should come to our program with a certain mindset, with a certain basically dedication, and like a graduate professional research skills are a must. Like you should know that you are here to learn, you are here to advance your careers, but it will not be not necessarily like a very simple thing. You should be committed, you should be professional, and you should be basically research. You should have certain research skills because this is a graduate program at the end. Okay, so these are the courses that I mentioned to you about like some foundational courses, and we have some also advanced courses that we prepared for you. So foundational courses are for the people who are not feeling very comfortable with their statistics background, mathematics background. So mathematics background, statistics background, and also like coding background. And in each of these courses, we will have 2 main goals. One of them is like improving, lifting your math skills, lifting your stats skills, or lifting your coding skills a little bit up. But in addition to that, we will be doing these things with a certain programming language, right? So you will not be doing only calculus. You will not be doing only statistics. You will be doing them with Python. You will be doing with them R. And how you can use these programming languages apply to this kind of theoretical knowledge. So this will be, in that sense, if you feel that 601 might be a fast start for you, then definitely we recommend you to start with these things. Okay, and these are basically the advanced level courses. Again, you can choose these things as your pathway also. For example, you can easily create your own deep learning or like an NLP pathway for you, and you can specialize on this topic. Okay, and the question might be, okay, so should I pay extra, or like is there any extra costs if I start with the foundational courses? No, because remember that you had 7 core courses and 3 additional courses, right? So we will be basically counting these foundational courses as part of your elective courses. And so, for example, one way of organizing your program, or like a or your like a schedule here, is you could take first semester, you could take foundational mathematics and statistics courses, one of them, and then together with like a 601, 602, whatever it is, and then you can choose 2 electives. Again, this is totally up to you, and then you can finish with a capstone in one of the, like, as a last course. Or you can take, depend on your background, if you are really feeling that, oh my gosh, I really need some polishing in my background, then you can take 2 foundational courses and then 7, basically 6 of these courses together, and you can finish with 1 elective, 1 capstone. Or you can take 3 foundational courses and you can really make a strong start, like a really solid foundation, and then you can take 6 courses together with capstone. Okay. And now for admission related questions, we will go back to Stephanie. I hope, Stephanie, I didn't take so much time as an instructor. This is my, I think, professional deficiency.
No, your portion is perfect. Your portion is what everyone comes from. So we'll talk about admission requirements. In order to be applicable for admission consideration, all students must have a bachelor's degree in any subject matter with a minimum undergraduate GPA of 3.0 on the 4.0 scale. If your school participates in a different type of scale, we do have ways to evaluate that as well.
Stephanie, can I interrupt for a second? Like,
Of course.
you share your screen, or do you want?
No, could you put yours back up, please?
Of course, sorry about that.
No, that's no problem.
Okay, so here we go.
Thank you. All applicants' prior coursework should include calculus, statistics, and basic programming. In terms of basic programming, we're looking at things such as Fortran and Python, and later during our ending Q&A portion, I'll have Dr. Murat go into that, as well as Dr. Simsek if there's any additional information for there. If you do not have work, if you have work experience that may demonstrate abilities in programming, this may be a factor in consideration towards your requirements. However, if you do not have prior coursework or work experience, we highly recommend you taking online courses in, again, statistics, linear algebra, and programming. While the GRE is not a requirement, for our international applicants, you must demonstrate proficiency in the English language by submitting one of these 3 scores below. Currently for the spring, we are also allowing the Duolingo test score, and we have added that as well. So if that's something that you are taking, we are factoring that into consideration towards spring 2021. In regards to the actual application process, and could we go to the next screen, please?
Mm-hmm.
You will apply online, which all applications are managed by our trusted partner, CollegeNet. You can find the application link here on the screen, or you may find the link on our data science page under the How to Apply section. As part of that application packet, you'll need to request all official transcripts be sent to the UMBC Graduate School. Please know that even if you are a UMBC graduate student, you still have to request your transcript, or you can upload it yourself into the portal. But all students, whether UMBC graduates or non-UMBC, must submit official transcripts. We also ask for a statement of purpose, and I'll cover that in a few minutes. We ask for your resume, which is another area that you can directly upload into your online application. And I get a couple of questions of what kind of things are you looking to include in a resume? We're looking for things such as your GPA, any awards received, research experience, if you want to go more into depth about your programming background, and any coursework you feel is relevant towards your programming and skills that you've learned. There is a $50 application fee. However, at the conclusion of this PowerPoint, you will see a waiver fee code that you can use on your application. And for our international applicants, again, you must not only provide the English proficiency test report, but you also must have 2 letters of recommendation. And we ask that those letters be on letterhead and also be signed from the recommender. As I said, going back to the statement of purpose, this is really your opportunity to explain your background, your experiences. It's also an opportunity if your GPA is just a little bit under 3.0, or again, you're having some questions of if your background fits into our prerequisites and or program overall, this is the time where you want to address these kinds of things during the statement of purpose. Okay, next slide, please. In terms of transfer of credit, we do accept up to 6 graduate credit hours. So again, that's 6 graduate. And I'm stressing that because we get a lot of questions of, can I submit things from high school or even undergrad? We're looking for graduate coursework because this is a graduate program. You'll send all of your transfer credit evaluation materials to Karina Jenkins, and we're asking for those materials to include, as you see on screen here, the official transfer credit request form, and that is found on our UMBC website, a course description, copy of the syllabus, and the number of credit hours. After receipt of that, Karina will work with Dr. Murat, and they will go through that, and then you'll be informed of what credits have applied, if applicable, and how they are applying. At this time, we'd like to open it up for the Q&A portion. And we received a couple of questions in our general open space, as well as I got a couple of questions myself. So I'm just going to read them aloud, and either myself or Dr. Murat will answer. And if Dr. Simsek, who is online, wants to chime in, that's great as well. But the first question, I did kind of answer it already, but again, I want to open it back up if Dr. Murat would like to give further feedback. And that question is, does this program require a specific programming course prerequisite? Can you provide an example of minimum programming coursework, or can you start the program with a working knowledge of a popular programming language like Python? Dr. Murat, would you like to give continuous additional information, I should say?
Of course, and this is a really great question. I think I see that. Is this Justin? Yeah, so a really great question. I think for us, like a very minimal programming experience is enough. And if you have especially Python skills, this is really great because we will be using Python mainly as our like a programming language. And if you know, again, as I said, data science is, as an interdisciplinary field, but, there's a joke in the data science field. Who is the data science is, data scientist is knowing more programming than statistician and knowing more statistics than computer scientist, right? So, and in that sense, like, we do not want you to be a hacker. We don't need you to be like a really expert in every single part of the programming. So if you have a really working knowledge, and in Python, it means basically you understand basics of data structures. You can basically work with a list, dictionary, or this kind of things. Very minimal, really. You can write a function. Then this is enough for us. And we will be building on these skills later on too. And if you don't have this skill, this is what I was trying to explain. We have these foundational skills that we will be hopefully give you this programming skills in addition to statistics, in addition to mathematics, in addition to like a computer science knowledge also. So even if you don't have these things, you can still check with us, apply, and we can take a look at it. And I think you can still take these courses and be ready for the 7 core courses, 6 core courses.
Awesome. Question from Gabriel. Hello, I was wondering if we wanted more information on specific programs, can we reach out to professors or department heads and where their contact information may be? I was also looking for the graduate certificate, but eventually for a master's program, would I have to reapply? Dr. Murad, I can answer a couple of those, but if you would like to go first or however you'd like.
Can you start, please? And then I can share the slide one more time so that I can show the contact information.
I sure can. In terms of the graduate certificate, if you're already a student and admitted into the master's program, there's really just a one-page form that you fill out in order to get into the graduate certificate. And you would actually send that to me and, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm on the main campus. I've a different hat. You would send that to Karina Jenkins, and between she and Dr. Murat, they would review. And then there are people in the graduate school who they would send that information to, and you would be notified therefore, to go on. But again, if you are a current already admitted student in the master's program, it's just a one-page kind of what I'll call an update form for you to do. In terms of specific programs, I'm not sure when you say if you wanted more information on specific programs, if you meant pathways within the data science program, or if you meant programs outside of data science. And if you mean programs outside of data science, those different programs are available on the UMBC website with all of their program directors as well as their graduate program coordinators information. Okay, thank you, Gabriel. He said he meant pathways, yes. And I'll let Dr. Murat answer that.
Hi, Gabriel. Great question again. And here are our contact information. And I know that, this can, like, you might not have pen and paper right now with you. You can always go to our data science umbc.com, and you can basically get these informations from there too. Okay, so and any questions that you have later on after this meetings, you can do not hesitate to check with me or check with Karina. And again, how you should basically choose which one should go to which one. You cannot make a mistake here. You just, like, if you get confused, just send to me and I can just forward this thing to somewhere else. But as a rule of thumb, if it is more like an academic question, I want to take this pathway, but do you think it is really good for me or for my background? I am the right person to answer these questions. But if you are wondering about, okay, I had this TOEFL and my score is blah blah, then you should be checking with Karina at this situation. And again, you will have the contact information for both of us in our webpage. Okay.
Okay, I received 2 more questions, and they were, are core classes offered during the summer?
So this is a good question again, and I think with the core courses so these are new addition to program. So we try to open summertime some of these courses, not necessarily only foundational ones. In fact, like more than the foundational ones. But because it's summertime, it is a little bit subject to situation, like a subject to like arrangement and stuff. So Dr. Shimshek, if he's available, he can give also more information on that.
Yeah, like normally we don't offer 601. So 601 is only offered in the fall or spring semesters. So what we try to do is we try to offer courses which are not very technically challenging in the summer. For example, 605, like data ethics. So we can also offer 604, but if you are going to offer it like database management, generally we offer it in the 12-week session. So what happens is in the summer, there are 3 different options. You can offer a course in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or 12 weeks. But because of the technical richness of our courses, most of the time we have to go with the 12 weeks option. Then it is difficult for both for like students and also for instructors. But things are actually quite different right now, and they are sometimes are changing. Like for example, like last summer, originally we were only planning to offer 605 and 604, like data ethics and database management. But then this COVID-19 happened, and most of our international students that they couldn't travel, and they came to us and they said, "Could you please offer new courses and more courses?" Then we offered 7 additional courses. So it looks like the summer semester might be, we're not sure right now, might be online. So in that case, yes, we will also offer several courses, but original plan is offering just a few, like 604, 605. By the way, I have to tell you one more thing. Actually, I think we forgot to mention that in our presentation. So we offer at least one online section of all the core data science courses. So this means that if you have to travel because of your work, that's fine. You will be able to get all the core data science courses online if you need so. And the two other things I want to mention is like one of them is we have this newsletter, and I am so glad it is working perfectly. So what's happening is like in that newsletter we share information about our program, our new courses, and new faculty members, but we also share information about like new job openings in our neighborhood, like in the greater DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Some of them are like full-time opportunities, some of them are like part-time or internship. But the great thing is, like companies who wants to hire our students, contact us, then we pass that information to our students, then companies come back to us asking, okay, like these students apply to us. So what do you think about them? Like which one is better than the other one? Like, so I think it's working really nice. And there's a truly very big demand in our students. And I can tell you, this is really funny. Last semester, we received more than 200 applications, like requests for our students for full-time or like part-time. And the number of students at that time was around 165. So even though like COVID-19 happened, we are in really great shape. Both like our domestic and international students are really doing in terms of finding job. And the last thing I want to highlight is we have a meetup group. If you just Google UMBC Data Science Meetup Group, you will find it. And we organize free events. Right now they are online, but when the campus is open, they will be just regular on-campus events. So please join our group and start attending our events. If you want to be a data scientist, you need to learn how this business is changing so fast. You need to be a part of it, and these events are really great events to be a part of it. You will not only learn, but also you will get to know the big companies. Um, so in those talks, we don't only talk about what they do, but we also ask them like, how did you, manage to find this job? Like, or do you have some suggestions to our students? So that they're really, I think, useful. So I believe you will learn a lot. So please join our meetup group again. I'm sorry for talking so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shimshek. This was really awesome. Yeah, great points.
Strong, valuable information. I
Exactly.
have questions. Please know that you can still submit questions. We're here to answer what you have. So even if we go a couple of minutes over 7, we are here for you. So the other question was, can you provide an example of a capstone experience?
Yeah, so again, since I am recently joined to the team, I didn't have the direct interaction with the capstone students, but I have great anecdotal, basically, stories. And again, Dr. Shimshek can chime in here because he was working with the students. But we have really a web page. We are sharing our students' capstones. And if you really have a chance to take a look at this, and you can find this website from our webpage, and also we can share this thing here also with this slides if we are sharing them. So our students are doing great projects that allow them to, especially capstone projects, that allows them to immediately land on jobs. In fact, I had this thing as an extra slides in my slides. Let me very quickly go to this slide. So these are two of our recent graduates, and this is Jessica and this is Nick. And Jessica was able to, again, I wasn't here, but according to what I hear is she was able to get a job before even I finished the program because of like all of the projects he has been doing, not only at the capstone time, before the capstones, our courses are all project focused, but also with the capstones, you can immediately get and land on jobs. And you choose the topic, you choose the basically project, and you will have an advisor, and you are basically doing this project, 3 months project, basically a semester long project, together with your advisor, and it really becomes so directed to the field that you would like to work. Let's say if you want to work in a medical field, you do a machine learning problem, you do an like a data science problem related to medical field, right? So in essence, it's really most important part of our program. And Dr. Shimshek, if you have anything, please chime in again.
Yeah, actually, like so we came up with this idea like last year, like creating a website for our capstone projects. By the way, if you join our program, you will design your own P3. So we call them P3, like capstone project and profile page. So it is really funny. Like last summer, we were having these discussions with NIH people to create this new fellowship. And then they ask us, like, what kind of projects your students do? And I just showed them, oh, this is the link, just go and see you by yourself. Then they, like, when they were visiting that web page, one of the students, like Yejin Song, she was working with the COVID-19 data sets. And the NIH team was so impressed. So if you just Google right now, Yejin Song, you will see that right now she's working as a data scientist for an NIH contractor. But basically, they're like a company within the NIH. So this is actually what you should do. You should really aim high. You should choose a really good project and build a strong portfolio. Okay, and showing all the different skills of yours in the field of data science. We have so many great examples. Some people are working on large data sets in the field of like, like maybe like healthcare. Right now, COVID-19 is very popular, data sets. But the subjects are endless. Some people are just working on NLP, like natural language processing. They're building chatbots. Some people are working on finance. One of our like last summer, one of our students, he worked for like a large financial company, and he did a brilliant job in terms of optimization by using machine learning. And seriously, what he did was saving his company's time by like 100 times. Instead of like waiting for like 100 minutes, his algorithm can tell what to do, which product to go, which center in 1 minute. Like the examples are endless. So just please go to our website and visit some of them, and you will really enjoy. Like we ask our students to share everything, their codes, their presentations, their data sets, so that other students, first they go through their projects, they learn about how they did it, then they can build upon those existing projects. Again, like so many great things. Like, we are so excited about this. Um, there's one thing um, I want to highlight. So one question is like, are the foundation courses offered in both campuses? In the spring semester, probably like at 99%, all the courses will be online. So it doesn't matter which campus you are in. So if you join us in the spring semester, you can take those courses online. But for the fall semester, actually, we are not sure. It depends on the number of students attending in our programs. So in the last semester, we had full classroom. So if we have the same situation in the following semesters, of course, we can offer both courses, all the courses at both campuses.
And related to capstones, I might want to add very quick thing. Like I think here we should explain. I'm sure you already take a look at it, but this is like a not a master's of science degree, right? So this is a master's of professional studies. So what it means is our focus is really to give you a hands-on and industry-oriented knowledge, and we really take it so serious, and we make it basically hands-on. We make all of our courses really like a directly oriented to the your basically career goals. So in essence, I think we have a very strong like a program here in terms of like learning super relevant information, super relevant knowledge in terms of your career. So, and this is basically, we see the projects, especially the capstone project, as a fundamental part of this experience. So we really value that a lot.
We have one more question, but if we could advance to that last slide, I want to make sure that we give everybody a visual of the waiver code. And the waiver code is DPS 2021. It is case sensitive, so you want to type it in just the way that you see it. DPS 2021, and that will waive your $50 fee. As well, I do want to note that Dr. Simsek did put that in the chat. He also put a copy of the link for the capstone projects that he and Dr. Murat were talking about. So please feel free to copy and paste that or jot that down, and you can see some of the our students' samples. So the last question that I saw listed was, are the foundation courses offered at both campuses?
Can you repeat the question again, Stephanie? I'm just
Sure. Are the foundation courses offered at both campuses?
Yeah, I think Dr. Shimshek already mentioned that. Again, this is right now in the spring semester, probably yes, because everything looks like, again, we right now, this is a little bit uncertainty. Again, as a data scientist, we should be really good at with this dealing with uncertainty, but given the pandemic scale, we really don't know what fall semester, fall 21 semester will look like. But in spring, we can almost, I think 95% sure say that yes, they will be open to both. In fact, all the classes, because they will be online, every classes will be open to any campus. For the spring, though, we don't know for sure, because we don't know whether it will be online, whether it will be in person. But we talk with Dr. Shimshek, and we have some plans to make them also make the foundational courses online in any case. So, but this is not like 100% sure yet. So, a little bit for the spring semester, I can definitely say these courses will be available both campuses. For the fall 21, it is a little bit uncertain right now.
We did have another question come in. I'm going to read it in its entirety and then we'll dissect it. If you decide to take the 3 foundational courses that count towards the MPS, can you take track courses when you finish the MPS and receive a certificate for the tracks? That is, of course, if you can take classes after finishing the 10 courses. So again, if you decide to take the 3 foundational courses that count towards the MPS, can you take track courses to finish the MPS and receive a certificate for the tracks?
Yeah, like that 10 course is the minimum. So you can take 11 course, 12 course, depends on you. But don't forget, there are only 3 certificates. Certificate in data science, a certificate in project management, and certificate in cybersecurity.
Yeah. So these are also certificate programs. The other programs are basically, these programs offered programs in like as data science program, right? So if they have the certificate programs, by satisfying their requirements, you can get these degrees. But if, for example, advanced computing doesn't have this certificate, obviously you will not be able to get it. But foundational courses, like if you take the 3 courses, like here, and if you then finish your 10 courses as it is shown here, obviously you can take more courses. Of course, the only thing will be then you will have extra tuition cost, which might be sometimes really worth it. So it is a personal decision, yeah, but you can do that.
Okay. At present, I don't see any other questions coming in. Before I turn it over to Dr. Simsek and Dr. Murat, I want to personally thank each and every one of you for attending, whether you were here on person or via phone. We hope that you all submit great applications and tell friends. And if you have any other questions, Karina Jenkins and Dr. Murat are your Shady Grove direct contacts. If you have any main campus questions, you can contact me or Dr. Simsek. But again, I personally want to thank each and every one of you for coming and having great questions. And again, I'll turn it now over to Dr. Simsek and Dr. Murat.
Ergin, you're muted. This is COVID again.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just want to say thank you to all of you for being out to us with being with us tonight, and we are all seriously looking forward to meeting you in person. Hopefully, this thing will be over soon, and we will achieve together a lot. Thanks so much, and good night.
Exactly. Yeah, I want to thank you all also for great questions and for being here today. Again, please do not hesitate to ask your questions, relate like academic related ones to me, please, and the like admission or like application procedures to Karina. But be in touch. Follow us from Meetup. We have amazing communities. Like you don't have to be really be our students. Like be a part of our community. So just follow us from LinkedIn, Twitter. So and hear from us. And we would like to hear from you too. So just be in touch. Okay.
Good night, everyone.